Hey guys, what's up? Happy whatever day you're listening to this. This is The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. I'm your host, Peter Surs. Today, you guys are in for a treat because I have in studio the party starter. You've seen him on TV. He's done so many things. God, you've been around for so long in the best way. I mean that in the best way. I'm so happy to have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, back home, put your hands together for the party starter, Darren Carter.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. It's so awesome.
I'm so glad you're here because you are. I don't know if you probably don't know, but this podcast started as me wanting to bring in comics who take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Like physically, eat well, work out, and you're definitely one of those people. There's not a lot of them.
I know. I wonder if there's more now than there's got to be more now than there was back in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah.
Because back then it was it seemed like the vibe was drink as much as you can, smoke as much as you can, do as much coke as you can, just party and live it and have that rock star life. And then I think as time went by, we kind of saw maybe we shouldn't be doing all that. Even though they probably knew it back then, but
there was, I feel like because in those times, at least, before social media, there was a mystique to certain people, like Kinnison and Hicks is part of their thing was you didn't know. I mean, you knew they partied, but you didn't see it. Whereas now, you know what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit, I felt like it added to their mystique. Whereas now people are like, there's no mystique because you see what everybody's doing all day long.
Because I remember I always, as a kid, I remember I was just telling my buddy this. I was so excited to get a weight set from Sears. When I was in elementary school, I think it was 5th or 6th grade. It had the cement inside of it, and it was amazing to like
a bench and dumbbells.
Yeah, it was bench dumbbells, and it had I remember we had this back patio, and I'd look at the little diagrams, if I do this, it builds up, and it'd be all in red, like the biceps, or it was amazing. It was wow, I can look like if I do this enough, I'll look like the Incredible Hulk.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which really you need a lot more than that, but that was the goal back then. In the 80s when I was a kid, I wanted to, used to get those bodybuilding magazines and wanted to be like the Incredible Hulk and Arnold and all that.
Yeah.
But I remember even when I started my comedy, and I went back to there was a comedy, they put us up in a condo, and it was in San Jose in the early 90s. And I remember when I went down, and there was probably one of the first times I saw a farmer's market, and they had these big, juicy tomatoes. And I was I couldn't believe how amazing it was. And I went back to I sliced it up and I put some mayo on it, right? And this is so good.
You put mayo on the tomato?
Yeah,
That's it?
Yeah. Well, no, that was it. Maybe I didn't put mayo, but I do like to put.
Gross.
I do like to put mayonnaise on tomatoes.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and with some black pepper. Oh man, but and I remember but at that time I probably didn't put mayo because if it was a comedy condo, I probably didn't buy the condiments. But I remember the other comedian, and this is probably in '94. He was probably 300 pounds.
Right.
And I remember he was just playing video games all day. He would just play video games.
Was this Nintendo?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was probably Nintendo
or Genesis.
It was some kind of basketball game. I don't know where you would throw the one player would throw the thing to the other player very easy, and then there'd be a circle around them.
NBA Jam? Is that what it's called, Paul? NBA Jam, right?
That's probably what it was.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not that into video games, but it was the big video game back then, and I go, dude, you got to try this tomato. And by the fourth time, he's like, can I curse on here?
Yeah.
He was like, dude, it's just a fucking tomato. And I was like, no, but it's the best one. You got to try it. And then I just realized, wow, there's definitely different types of comedians. He was more old school. It's just, sit around the house and relax.
That's
and
pretty
chill
much how I mean, at my level, I'm usually featuring, sometimes even emceeing for guys. And it's the same thing. It's if I'm on the road doing a club.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's some older guy that I always invite whoever I'm on the road because one of my things is no matter where I go, I find the gym and every day while I'm there, I'm working out because I just got to take care of myself.
That's all we have to do all day, right? It's just I love it when you're on the road. It's you got the shows at let's say 7:30 or 8 that night, and you're okay, I can just I can go out. And the only thing is that sometimes I tend not to work out as hard on the road because at home, we have for me, I go to the boxing gym, but so on the road, I'm okay, today because I love walking and just seeing what's around.
Yeah.
So I'll spend 2 hours just walking around the city or finding a mall and just walking around inside that mall, and then, and then just doing some like body weight exercises in my room. But I love to like, because sometimes I remember I was in Milwaukee recently, and I was there for 3 days, and I'm like,
Skyline?
no, the other one.
Milwaukee Comedy Club?
Yes, the Comedy Cafe. Well, I shouldn't say recently. It was probably like a year ago. But
Okay.
but I remember I was there, and I was like, man, I'm only here 3 days. Let me just go explore the city. And I was like, I'll hit the gym when I get back home, But it's
This is in Milwaukee.
yeah, Milwaukee.
Did you go see Jeffrey Dahmer's
No,
old residence?
no.
I've been there.
Really? Is it in downtown somewhere?
I mean, no, I don't think so.
Because I only went within walking distance. I was
Right.
along the river where like the
Okay.
Fonzie statue was and all that, and
Like Henry Winkler?
yeah, the opening
Oh,
of Laverne and Shirley was.
Right,
right.
right,
I was at I think the International Continental Hotel or whatever it's called, but but I remember in the Pabst Theater, but like right across was. I remember looking at it, going, God, that looks like the opening of Laverne and Shirley, and I looked it up, and I'm like, it is. It's
yeah.
like right there. It's so cool.
Wasn't, some of you guys are too young to remember either of these shows, but wasn't one of them a spin-off of the other?
Mm-hmm.
The Vernon Shirley spin-off of Happy Days or vice versa, I think?
I don't know about that, but I know there was definitely some crossover.
Yeah.
Laverne and Shirley, Fonzie.
Because I remember that the Vernon Shirley, like the credits, they're like at the beer factory. and
Yep.
They're like,
Do giving in it. Dun, dun,
That's
dun,
great.
dun. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's just like you said, if you're on the road, you have nothing to do all day. I mean, you should have stuff like you should be writing, you should be obviously all those things, but like,
But
there's
but I mean, yeah, you don't have to like when we say do anything all day. It's not like you're not like, oh, I gotta go get my oil changed on my car. I mean, you're
Right.
just literally all you have to do is focus on the show.
Yeah.
You know.
So I wake up and I work out, and I for me, I like going to gyms in different cities just because one,
Yeah.
being based in LA, like I don't know about you, but like I go to a lot of the gyms or studios, and then like there's just so many people in much better shape than I am.
Yeah.
That it motivates me because I'm like, oh, I gotta eat a couple less carbs, or I gotta lift a little bit heavier, whatever it might be. But then when I go somewhere else, I'm like, oh, I actually look really good compared to like.
Yeah, because you're doing like I see you doing battle ropes and
love
see
it.
and what I like too is like you're doing you have more like the lean look, which is what I would like. You know
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
camera adds
That's
10 pounds, dude. That's the name of this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, you should see him, but in real life he's lean. But it's like you're right. Like you go on the road sometimes, and you see like these dudes that they're more trying to go for like the. I guess I don't know what they're going for, like the bulky with the big gut.
Yeah, I
and
don't
the,
like it.
you know what I mean, like the
For sure.
How much can you bench, bro? They're still stuck in that mode.
Still.
Sometimes, like
No, still, yeah.
yeah.
So you've been doing. I know you. I kind of did it in the intro. When did you start comedy? Because I know you've been around for like
I've been doing it over 20 years. It's
20 years.
yeah, it's 20 years plus. I remember like yeah, that's why we're in a really cool time just in life, but also
Yeah.
on the next layer of that with comedy with like social media technology, cuz dude, back in the day, like if you were like doing comedy like I would say like pre-97, 98, whatever, and you would just be on the road. Like when you go on the road, you're just like you're kind of out of touch. I mean, there was like calling cards you could call home, or there was like you could use a bunch of quarters. I remember that.
A calling card for some of you guys is this thing.
Yeah.
You would go to a payphone usually,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Which we don't even have those anymore. And there was like you would pay like a fixed amount, $10, $20, whatever, right? And then depending on where you would call, it would cost X amount of money per minute. And then you would be on the phone. And then at some point, someone like the operator would be like, you have 4 minutes left. You're like, oh, I got to hurry up. I got to go.
Yeah.
And like that was how you talked to people because there wasn't cell phones. Like he said, there wasn't
Right.
email. There wasn't Skype. Like,
I
yeah.
know there was no like Facebook, Instagram, any of that stuff. In a way,
crazy.
so in a way that part could be good, but in a way it was definitely like lonelier. Like you're like, all right, honey, I'll see you when I get back. And then you're just out there, and then which is cool. But then and also during the day, I used to be like, God, I wish I could do something to promote my comedy or to do something during the day to move my stand up further.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could like write movies, but I'm like, that's not my thing. But now it's great because now, fast forward to 2019, current day, it's like, you could be doing podcasts during the day, which when I was in Vegas, I recorded 3 different podcasts. I cut videos, you're editing videos. I would get copies of my set, put them on an external hard drive, copy them over to to my computer. And you feel like there's more work to do if you want it. Like some people,
Yeah.
some guys are still resisting it. They're like,
of course.
they're like, I just want to be funny, which I get, but It's kind of cool
You
that
got to
you
do
could
more now.
you could do more. I mean, how many episodes in are you on
This
your
is
podcast?
this is 21.
21. See,
Yeah.
dude, this is just a baby.
Yeah, we're so young.
I'm 73 episodes in on my podcast,
The Pocket Party.
Pocket Party podcast,
Uh-huh.
and before that, I did one with a partner back in like 2012, I think. Yeah, for like we did it for about 3 years, and it was great because people can keep in touch, and then you'll start to notice like people will come to your shows, and I'm already noticing it, but I can only imagine like where it's going to be like, by the time we both get to like 100 episodes, and then
Right.
150, and then 200. It's
I like it. I like it because like this is another reason why I wanted to have you on too, because you've been in the game for 20 years, right? And when people ask me like where I want my career to be,
real quick. I learned this from Ian Edwards because I used to be super specific, and he goes, no, just say 20 plus years because he goes, I didn't work all this hard just for people to like put a number or something to kind of like take me out of it, like, you know what I mean? So I don't want. Yeah, I've definitely done it longer than 20 years.
Oh,
but
okay.
We'll just
Even
say
longer.
20 plus years.
okay. Well, but the thing is okay.
Yeah.
So
all right, it was 1990, guys. I started in 90. All
No
right,
shit.
you heard it here first.
Are you serious?
Actually, 89, but
That's like 30 years.
yeah, Dan
That's
Cook,
more than 20.
Dan Cook goes, just round it up to 90. 'Cause yeah, people like even numbers, but screw it, it was 89. Yeah, and then my first TV credit was not till I moved to LA, and that was 96. I got a 96. Okay, I'm sorry. I
That was
didn't mean to interrupt.
Latino
Yeah,
something,
Latino
right?
Laugh Festival, Showtime. Yes,
Uh.
that was the big one. That was the first one that got me. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's great. I mean, people. I could talk about comedy forever. But the thing is like, when people ask me what I want my career to be, it's like I want to just do stand up,
Yeah.
full time, which is should be the dream for everyone trying to do stand up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you have a family,
Yep.
which is admirable in this profession. So you're an example of someone I don't know, Eric Rivera, right?
Yes.
Same
Yeah,
thing. It's
yeah.
like these guys have been in the game for so long, but they have families, they have children, and they make it work. And I don't want to speak for you, but like, because I know you take care of yourself, I feel like that does have a lot to do with it. Like your ability to balance all those things.
Oh yeah, because if you're like, I'm gonna do blow all night, and then, like,
Right.
Yeah, you just come on, man. Like, but yeah, I have a wife, a son. He's 11. He'll be 12 next month, and it's cool because there's like this almost like like with Spider-Man, he has like the Spidey sense. Like you start getting this little tingling of like, like okay, like if I'm doing something around, and then I know like school's gonna be out at 3:30. I'm like, okay, guys, I gotta wrap this up because I want to be able to go see my son, for a couple hours before he goes to Taekwondo or whatever, like or if I'm, you start getting, and so in a way you're starting to get like these I wouldn't say limits because that has a negative connotation, but you definitely get this internal thing as opposed to the single days when you're like, if you don't have a compass to tell you what to do, you could really stay out till as long as you want, and
Right.
sleep as long as you want, and all that. But yeah, having a wife and a family definitely is one of those things. It's like but also like with you with exercise, I'm sure there must be times where you're hanging out at night and doing the social thing after your stand-up set, but then you're like, okay, I want to get home because I want to be able to get up early and get my day started. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean, I hang out when it's appropriate. I
Yeah.
think there's some people that do it just because they don't have anywhere to be or
Yeah.
because they feel like they need to be. And that's fine. Like
Yeah.
there is a lot of networking involved in the business of stand up. But yeah, there is a point where I'm like, all right, if I don't wake up like at 7 or 8 tomorrow,
That's really early, by the way. Even I don't get up that early.
if I don't get up, I'm like, it's gonna, I got a podcast or I got this, like you said, I want
Yeah.
to write. Like I try to block out my time
Mm-hmm.
so that I feel like it's easy to get, especially now, like with our phones and there's so many distractions that if I just lay everything out, I'm gonna do this at this time, it just makes everything go smoother. But I have a girlfriend. We've been together for 4 years, but like I always commend her because it's hard to be with a stand-up comic. How long have you guys been married?
Oh, 22 years.
Wow, so
we
she-
just celebrated our 22nd anniversary.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
That's
Is your
great.
girl, does she live around, does she? Or
We live together.
Oh.
But she, her family. We were talking about it before
Yeah.
you got here. Her family. She's from Oklahoma.
Mhm.
So she has a. her family has a farm in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So she goes home every summer, and they grow watermelons in the summertime.
Oh, cool. I think I saw some stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, that's
posting
cool.
stuff. So she goes home every summer
Yeah,
to
that's great.
to work the farm, and then I'll go for work to work the clubs out there.
Yeah.
So I can like visit with her, but also I still gotta work. I'm selfish.
Yeah, of course. We have to
so,
be. You
yeah,
got to
I
get
mean,
ahead,
You do, but like
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like not everyone can put up with
Yeah.
our lifestyle. Like,
So when she's not helping out at the farm, do you know how many acres they have by any chance?
I always get asked this question. So like directly on there, it's like hundreds.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Oh, so it's a
hundreds.
lot of like work, and then she has to really help them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's work. Like it's like you wake up when the sun comes up and you work until the sun goes down and
Yeah.
you get a break.
And
like,
it's mainly watermelons.
so it's so her dad's a rancher,
Mm.
so they have like tons of cattle.
Yeah.
And that's like that's where like most of the money comes
Mm.
from. But like in the summertime, they do watermelons and cantaloupes also. So she's kind of like that's gonna be her part of the business. And then the dad will continue to do the ranching. She doesn't really love the ranching part of it.
Yeah.
She likes the watermelons.
The reason I asked that is my
Uh-huh.
wife's a farmer.
Oh no way!
Yeah, yeah.
Where's she from?
Fresno, but it's
Okay,
it's
559.
It's yeah, exactly. It's near, yeah, 559. Which when I grew up, it was the 209.
Oh
and they,
no way! Oh
they
yeah,
cut it.
That's
so,
more north now.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So all the gangbangers that got the area code. Hey, I'm from the 209. Oh man, I gotta move to Stockton. But,
That's great.
Yeah, like I remember, like yeah. Anyways, I was going off into a joke, but
Yeah, that's fine.
805. I saw this guy. This is true. I took my wife one time to a show in Santa Maria, and there was a guy, bald head, tattoo, and it said 805.
Right.
But it was an old English style writing, so it looked like it said SOS. And my wife goes, 'cause she's not, she doesn't do the rooms and go to the places I've been, but so she's
Right.
like, why does that guy have a tattoo that says SOS? I go, that's 805. And I was like, and then so the joke I used to be is like, trust me, he's not asking for help. SOS. No, but yeah, so
That's great.
So yeah, she grew up on a farm, and they raised like, well, different things, but like cotton, alfalfa,
Oh, wow.
grapes. No cattle. It was all fruits and
Agriculture,
vegetables,
uh-huh.
and they and so I met her when she was on vacation. I met her on in Hollywood. She was at the Hollywood Improv just to watch comedy, and she had family down here, and so yeah, so it was great. We get this. We dated 10 months. And I just couldn't stand that. That's why I asked where does she live, because I couldn't stand the long distance anymore. I'm like,
Right.
come on, let's. So we got married, and we got married in '97, and we've been married for 22 years, and it's great. And I do like having that, because we still have the farm. Like we go up there a lot of times for holidays, and then my wife is able to take our son during the summer. Like they'll go up for like a week or whatever at a time here and there, and he gets to do some archery and ride his bike, and it's great to have that. Once again,
Like
we
that
talk
much
about
land.
that balance too. We talk about having balance, like because if you're just like in these the big city the whole time, it can get kind of like you need to get out, you need nature, So
Agreed. It's definitely like because I grew up here, so like I'm biased. Like I love LA. I mean, traffic sucks and whatever. It's expensive, but like I just love how accessible everything is and how
Yeah.
much we have at our disposal here.
yeah.
But as an adult now and someone that's like now I get to see, really nice parts of the country, not so nice parts of the country. Like it is cool to just go out and be in like where you could see the stars at night. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
It's I don't know how Fresno is because that's still like a pretty big population, but
Yeah, no, because it's where we go now. Because even Fresno, when I go to, I don't even want to go to Fresno. I love you, Fresno, but I only go there for shows now, or
Yeah.
maybe to visit a relative. But like when I leave LA, I want to go out. Like you said, we go out to the farm, and it's literally like in the middle of nowhere. Like you have to drive like 20 miles in to go to like the grocery store
Right,
and stuff.
okay.
I mean, there's like little markets and stuff, but. And it's just that's the best, like in small doses, just to look
in
up
small
and-
dose. That's what I was telling
yeah.
you, Paul. That's
Yeah,
what I was telling him
small
before.
doses,
Uh-huh.
like
2 weeks is a lot.
yeah, 2 weeks is a lot, and it's like, but even now, like I said, you could even stay connected. Like, let's say you went there for 2 weeks, and you brought your portable podcast stuff, you have your cameras.
Yeah.
Maybe there's still a way to like, do stand up and get it out to the people and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing both. So like, I would wake up So I was working the Looney Bins. You work Looney Bins?
I'm gonna do the first one for the first time, Oklahoma City.
Oh, cool.
I've
the
never
best one.
been there before.
It's the best one.
It is?
I mean, no offense to all the
yeah.
other Looney Bins, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's.
Because I heard that's where they like to put you first.
Oh,
Just
really?
is that true? I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of how I got in
Yeah.
with the Looney Bins.
The Oklahoma City one?
Yeah, because so the first time we went, the first time my girlfriend and I, first time she took me back home to meet everybody, it was going to be like 10
Yeah.
days or something,
Yeah.
and I was like, I can't not be on stage for
Yeah,
10
yeah,
days.
yeah.
Like I just can't. So I was kind of looking to see what was within driving distance, and
Yeah.
Oklahoma City was like the closest. So I called the club. I was like, hey, I'm going to be there anyway. Can I do a guest spot?
Yeah.
That's all I asked for, and then she was like, yeah, sure, set up a guest spot, and then obviously, like, I did well. So she was like, hey, would you like to work our club and our
Yeah.
other clubs? And I was like, yeah, and that was it.
That's great.
But yeah, that was actually the first one.
I have no idea what to. I don't even know what to expect. Like but it's a good club. It's
fun. I had an
yeah.
incident when I was there a couple weeks ago, but
Somebody got offended or something.
yeah. Did you see?
I saw something you posted. Something like that.
It was pretty funny, but I mean, it wasn't even. It was just.
Was it the back and forth? She said something, you said something, and then
and then it just escalated, and
oh wow,
yeah,
that's.
But she left, and she was crying and
gosh.
whatever. But then, what was weird was like, there was a party of like she was with like 7 people,
Yeah.
and they all got up and left, and I was like, well, shit, now everyone's gonna be mad because
Right,
I just
right.
walked a party of 7.
Yeah.
But like a couple minutes later, everyone else in the party came back to the show.
That's great.
And she just stayed out. They have a bar outside the
Yeah,
club,
yeah.
or in the club, but like outside the showroom. And she just stayed at the bar while her friends sat there and enjoyed the rest of the show.
Awesome.
So I was like, well, okay, at least I didn't piss them off.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then like 3 of them came up to me and apologized to me on her behalf.
Yeah.
Because she was going through some stuff. So, I'm sorry for what I said. Kinda. Not sorry for my jokes. I'm sorry that it affected her, but it
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
it
man.
is.
It could be weird,
But it's fun.
And then sometimes, like we'll just talk in general terms because I don't want you to feel like you're in the hot seat. But there are times in the past where like I've said stuff, and then like every now and then like somebody. I'm like probably one of the least offensive.
He's the
'cause
party starter.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, but you'll always, you can't control how other people feel. And,
Yeah.
and one time this woman was crying in the lobby, and same thing. And then the club owner or manager at the time, I think now he might be the owner, but this one club I did, and he's like, do you think that was a good show? And I'm thinking, yeah, because I just made a ton of merch. This one guy, I swear to God, he came up to me and tipped me $100. He was, that was so funny. He's like, I'm a music producer down in Florida. And I'm like, it was a great show. And he goes, really? And he shut the door behind him. And he goes, I just had a woman crying in my lobby. And I was like, uh-oh, I better do my acting. I'm like, oh, I mean, it was a bad show. But I'm thinking, God, it was a great show. What's he talking about? Come to find out the lady was pregnant. She's a lot bit more emotional, probably.
Right.
And, yeah, it was a little bit weird. And I decided, I'm like, I don't even want to go with deal with that club again. Because if they I felt like they took the side of the audience member
Right.
over the performer.
Yeah, they didn't. That didn't happen in this case.
That's good.
And like I said, okay. So for those of you, I have a joke about and it's not even a joke about mass shooting. I just bring up mass shooting, and it just turned out that her brother had killed himself like 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
So she was just anything gun related. It was freaking her out. The joke is not making fun of mass shootings. I can't even explain it to you, but. Anyway, she was just triggered, and that was it. And that's why
Triggered? Come on, guy.
No.
No, I'm gonna cry. No, I'm just kidding. But I know what you're saying, though. It's
yeah,
like,
it was just like no matter what,
Yeah.
she heard gun, and that was it. And
by the way, I just watched Dave Chappelle's new special.
Oh, it's so good.
You saw it?
Yeah,
it was
it's
great, right?
Yeah.
It was great. I was like, wow. And also, like all those topics he touches, I don't do any of those. And I was like, it was amazing to see someone do it and make it super funny. And you know what? And I also realize it's way easier, I think, if you're a black comic and you're famous and you're doing your thing. And
Most
it's like
definitely.
the audiences, we like to digest it. It's going to be a lot easier than like if you're, playing like a Mexican restaurant and no one really knows you and you're up there like talking about
like me.
Yeah, exactly. Or us, me too. It's like because I just played an upscale Mexican restaurant in Santa Clarita. It's called Noche Azul.
661.
That's right. Well, you know your area codes. That's good.
We've been over this on this podcast.
Oh, really?
I'm an area code expert.
Yeah. Does it mess you up when they switch the area? Because sometimes they do it and they don't like.
It's been a while. The one that's weird for me now is 424, which is like
Oh yeah, that's somewhere in LA,
South
right?
Bay. They're like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be South Bay, but like I know other people that have 424, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's weird.
Yeah, because I have a friend that lives in Glendale, and he has 424, and he was acting like it was the new thing to get.
Yeah,
Like, oh
no.
yeah, I used to,
Yeah, I think they're expanding it, but it was supposed to be South Bay. Like
Let me
for
ask you a
most of-
question.
Yeah,
if
go
you,
ahead.
If you see a phone, and then what were we talking about? We'll get back to Chappelle
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But so if you or whatever, but if you see, if your phone, I don't know about you, but here's my pet peeve. I feel like I'm getting a lot of phone calls now.
All the time.
Not from friends and relatives and people I really want to speak to. It's random numbers, people pretending to be like, because they put your area code, your prefix, and it's so annoying. But let me ask you this: do you pick up a phone if it's area code, let's say 818? Would you pick up an 818?
I immediately pick up. See, here's the thing. So
Because I'm leading to something.
yeah.
Are you more likely to pick up or not pick up if the area code is 818?
I'm not. I will pick up a phone line, a phone call from 818-310-323, specifically because I think it's a job. Like
Yeah, I was just
an
gonna say
audition or
that.
something.
I was just gonna say that 818 probably not. 323.
818 can be like casting though. There's casting offices in like the Valley.
But if it's 310, I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
that's like 99%. Like, ooh, 310. Who is this? What do
Right.
they want?
That's like a.
So all you scammers out there.
Remember the movie Swingers?
Yeah. So what's that?
Swingers with John Favreau and
yeah.
Vince Vaughn, like from like '98 or whatever.
Yeah. The movie.
And like
yeah.
they're
You
going.
saw money.
Yeah. So they're going out, and he gets this girl's phone number, and he goes back, and all his friends are waiting to see like what he says. He's like, "Yeah, I got her number." He's like, "Oh, what is it? 818?" And he's like, "No, 310." And they're like, "Oh."
Ooh.
Yeah. But
That's funny.
What sucks for me too is not only on the LA, I think it's like an audition or something, but also if I've just emailed a club, like let's say I emailed Comedy Zone out in wherever they're like in Charlotte or something. I think their base is in Charlotte. But like I'll get a phone call from that area code. It'll be like wherever I'm submitting to clubs all the time, and it'll be like Tallahassee. I'm like, oh, cool. And then like I answer it, and it's like some bullshit. I'm like, damn it! Like how'd they know that I was expecting a phone call from even though it'd probably be an email. Sometimes they call you like
Yeah, you never know. Maybe because your dream is that they'd be like, "Hey, we just got your email with your video clips. Man, are you available
exactly
in 2 months?"
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's never that.
Yeah, it's like
I get like dozens every day. Oh, there's a dog outside.
I was going to tell you there's a dog outside.
Did you hear it bark right now?
Oh, no, that was me coughing. I went like
Oh, it really was.
yeah.
That's funny. Dude. I thought it's a dog outside.
What if I cough like this? Excuse me. But I'm trying to cough away from the mic.
That's cool. Thank you.
I was thinking about the 310 and the area code. So I grew up in Fresno, and by the way, I googled the population. When I grew up, it was a lot better. Like growing up in the 70s and 80s there. Now it's like it's getting super close to 1 million, especially when you count
In
the
Fresno.
neighbor. Yeah,
That's
man,
crazy.
it's like. Yeah, so it's not that little. But when I was younger, I remember looking up and seeing like blue skies and
Right.
now it's more of that milky white kind of like
Yeah,
the
it's
big
gross.
city.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But so this is different than LA, I would imagine. But for us, like we didn't have like ooh, she's from that area code. For us, what we thought the pretty girl. Like I remember I went to this club. No, I'm sorry. I worked on the radio in this girl called the request line. That's what it was. 'Cause I didn't know what she looked like, and she said that I asked her what she did for a living, and she said she worked the makeup counter at the mall. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like that was our 310. Like, ooh, the makeup counter at the mall.
And if it was Mac, oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. I don't think we had a Max store in Fresno at that time. No, it was. It's kind of funny. Have you guys ever heard of J.C. Penney's?
Of course.
It was J.C. Penney's, but still,
Oh, yeah.
she was pretty hot.
Is there still JC Penney? They still exist, right?
Yeah. She worked the makeup counter at Kmart.
Someone dropped a Mervin's on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, Mervin's! I forgot about that."
Gottschalk's, Mervin's.
Mervin's is gone now. But
Where did you
JC
grow up
Penney-
in
I grew up in Ontario. So I was born here. I was born Kaiser on Sunset. But then when
Very
I-
specific.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we lived here for a while, East LA, and then we moved out to Ontario when I was like in elementary school.
Cool.
And then I moved back after I was done with school. So I've pretty much been here.
You
more.
moved back to like the Hollywood area.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived everywhere. At this point, like as an adult, I've lived everywhere. I lived in East LA for a while. I lived in like on the west side. I lived down in South Bay. I lived in the Valley, and now
Oh, wow.
we're right over here, Beverly Hills adjacent.
Yeah. When you live in all these different places, does it seem like you're totally in different towns? Like it must
Oh,
seem like it.
completely. It's
Yeah.
completely. I mean,
It's like night and day, right? Like when you're in like this part, you're like,
yeah. I mean, every different neighborhood I've lived in is just completely different.
yeah. I feel like the valley kind of blends together though, a little bit, right? Or no?
Well, I
Or
lived in Sherman Oaks when
yeah.
I was in the Valley,
Yeah.
so, and I was like, we were like right off of Ventura, so it was like different than like Pacoima or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean?
When I say like when I'm driving down like what's that one street, Magnolia or something? Like it
Like a
all kind
like
of
NoHo. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it all kind of blends together like because I have a buddy that lives near Magnolia in the 405, and one time I took the Magnolia. Well, it was nighttime, so I didn't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the but I drove from Magnolia in the 405 all the way down to Burbank, and I was like, it kind of seems
Oh yeah, when you're
similar.
driving, same thing like on
Like,
Lancashire.
yeah.
Like just it's like just the whole thing like repeated over and
Yeah,
over again.
repeated over exactly like apartment building, apartment building,
Uh-huh.
apartment building, apartment building. Maybe like a McDonald's or a Starbucks
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
7-Eleven, and then apartment building, apartments. Like it didn't seem that different.
Yeah. So your wife, so you're from Fresno,
Yes.
and then your wife is also from
No,
Fresno.
no, she's from like about 30 miles away. So yeah, we happened to just by coincidence.
That's so random.
She
Yeah.
came to the Hollywood Improv. We were talking. Hey, you're here on vacation. Where are you from? Yeah, I'm going to be in Fresno this weekend. No way. Wow, I'll come see you. And then I didn't. It's funny because back then I was opening and I didn't want her to think I was. Because I didn't want to bomb. So I go, let's meet after the show. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I made that
yeah.
mistake of inviting people. Oh, come to my show, and then that
Yeah.
was like we hadn't met.
Yeah.
That was how they met me, was by seeing my set, and that was a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when I was like, they're the odds of bombing at that club because like it was run by an older guy who used to be like on an AM talk show. So like a lot of his audience would come, and they were definitely like older, like they were like the Tommy Bahama shirts, and just especially when you're like at the time I might have been like 26 or something. So it was like my subject matter and topics were hilarious for younger people, but like
Right.
if you were like over like 55, it was like who's Snoop Dogg or whatever, you
Right.
know. So
So you started working out when you were 5 or in like 5th and 6th grade. You
I
said
was
right?
5, yeah.
When you were like 5th and 6th grade.
Give me that juice
That's pretty.
box,
That's pretty
bro.
young though.
Yeah, I did. I
That's
started.
great.
Well, yeah, I started. I thought about that. I started out like I was on that like doing track and all that, and then I was in wrestling, junior high, and then the sports I did like cross country and swimming. I was on the swim team.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the school I went to, it wasn't real poor, but it was kind of poor. Like it was a magnet school, but meaning they wanted it's the Roosevelt Performing Arts magnet.
Oh.
We want to like start theater program but I would have went there anyway because I lived in the neighborhood. So, but like to give you an idea, like we had a swimming because like I said, it wasn't totally like, but there was like we had a swimming pool, but like I remember when I joined the water polo team, the paint was coming off the walls.
Oh no.
And it was clouding up the water.
Oh wow.
And they were like, yeah, we should probably stop this and drain the pool. So I remember, yeah, and to keep us in shape, he had us playing basketball.
Oh, that's good
so
cross
just to get
training.
and I quit. I was like, you know what, this is, yeah, I was on water polo team for 2 weeks, and then I was just like, I'm not gonna, I didn't come, and that's also around the same time that I started like, I was on the forensics team, which is like speech and debate.
Forensics.
And yeah, that was in 11th grade. I did it for 4 years, junior and senior year, and then 2 years at community college.
Oh, cool.
And you're basically writing stand-up. You're basically, writing it's called speech to entertain, and you would do a 10-minute speech, and then at the end you would sort of have like a point, and you'd be like, ta-da, and I always got a lot of laughs. They always thought I was really funny, but the one critique they said. They go, it doesn't really have a point, which is kind of the same thing now, but it was really fun, and I thought, wow, I'm enjoying this way more, making people laugh and getting my ideas out there than I am, being at swim practice at 6 a.m.
Right.
So that's why I was like, I'm done with swimming, but yeah, and then I got back into the fitness, and I don't think there's ever been a time that I haven't, especially once. I for sure when I was 23, 24, because I remember joining Gold's Gym and then it was just off.
Which one?
At that time, I lived in San Diego for about a year and a half.
Okay.
So I joined that one, and then when I moved to LA, I did the one in North Hollywood over on Victory and Laurel Canyon area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Got
one.
that.
But then I kind of got tired of the gym back then. Maybe it's probably better now because there's a lot more. They incorporate different styles. But
Yeah.
I got kind of tired of these guys. You know that vibe of the gym where people lift
Meatheads.
weights. Yeah,
I don't like meatheads.
Yeah, that or even now the gym that gets okay. Let me back up.
You can badmouth gyms. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm very I'm very particular when it comes to.
Yeah, me too. And so what I was gonna say is I got really burnt out on the whole gym, like up down, lift weights, up down, drink water, check my messages, walk around, lift weights, talk to people. I got sick of that, and so I took time off and just like many years, and I would just go to the park and do pull-ups or go for like a light jog or play tennis with my wife or play tennis with some friends around I don't know. And I got to the point where I was like, man, I'm mainly walking. I'm not really, because I love listening to podcasts and I love like going for these long, like hour and a half, 2 hour walks. But I'm like, I'm not really sweating. I need to like do something. And I walked past this boxing gym. And so I got in the boxing gym 4 years ago. And there was two things I really like. I love boxing now, and at the time I still do, and I love playing chess. I love chess. And so I walk by this boxing gym. I walk up to the front door, and they had like a regular, like a big. It's a regulation competition chessboard with like triple weighted pieces right there at the front.
At the boxing studio.
Yeah, yep, right there. And then there was a ring right behind it, and I'm like, wow, boxing, whoa, chess. And so there was a guy sitting there. Turns out later he's a trainer, and I was asking him some questions. He goes, hey, you want to play a game? So we're like playing chess. I'm kind of like looking around. And by the way, I was there in the afternoon, so there was only about 3 or 4 people. And they might have just been, like they were just like the regular citizens. They weren't like the pros.
Right.
So they, might have been some lady stretching or some guy like jumping rope. It didn't look too intimidating. And I was like, wow. And he goes, yeah, come back. It's like $60 and
$60 a month.
60 a month or whatever it was.
And you can go whenever you want.
Yep, and that one you can go in. Well, it's closed now, but he goes, you can come in whenever you want. And I was like, perfect. Like we're, and so I remember the first time I'm hooked now. I go 3 times a week, and the other days I'm back to like running or walking or whatever, pull ups to the park, all that stuff. But man, I remember the first time I walked in to a boxing gym, and it was mainly pros, and it was very intimidating because it was kind of a closed space. So people are jumping rope, and you're kind of like, you don't want to get hit by the rope by accident.
Right.
People are hitting the mitts. There's guys getting ready to fight that are going to be on TV, and you're just like, and I didn't know what to expect. And I was like, I thought maybe somebody was going to like in the movies, like, they'll be sparring in the ring, and then they'll spot me and be like, you, take their mouth guard, you're next, get up here. Like, I didn't know, what I mean? I didn't know. And I'm telling you, it wasn't like that at all. And they were like, this isn't, you're good. So I realized, like, oh, everyone, like, they have there's no reason for these pros to, like, fight, even an amateur, really, because why would they want to get hurt? Like, because that's how they make their money,
Right.
It's like you being a comedian, like, going up against some, like, lame open mic. It's like you're already going to win. There's no point. You already know you're funny. You've proved yourself. You're not trying to,
Right.
But I'm telling you, it's like, it was really cool to enter that world, and I realized how weak I was. I'm still pretty weak on some things, but like, like I'm like, God, I haven't. At that time I was like, I never do sit-ups or crunches or anything. And if you haven't done crunches or any of that stuff, and you do it, your muscles start. I don't know that word, but they start quivering and like they get all tense and they start like. It's one thing if it's your legs. You've squatted a lot, then your legs are like, ooh. But when your stomach starts, like the abs start contracting, I was like, oh my God, is something wrong? I actually got down on the floor and started breathing, and then eventually it kind of goes away and you stretch, like, oh shit. I mean, I was like, I can never let this happen again.
That's great.
Do you remember when that? Or did you always maintain your abs? Or
no, I mean, I haven't. I've never. There was a really brief period when I was like kind of done with school and I was working at Dave & Buster's in Ontario. And so it was just like, working at a bar. So there's like maybe like a 6-month period where like I was working out still, but like I wasn't in the kind of shape like that I am now.
Yeah.
But I gained like 40 pounds. I was like almost 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And I thought I was gaining muscle, but I wasn't. And yeah, because people would see me, they're like, "Oh, are you putting on some weight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been working out, but like I really wasn't." It was just because I had stopped playing baseball, 5 days a week or whatever.
Oh,
Because
wow.
we were, when you're
Yeah.
practicing every day
Yeah.
and working out, and also you're like in your early 20s, it's just
Yeah.
you never really have to pay attention to what you're eating.
Yeah.
So then once I stopped that kind of activity, my eating habits hadn't changed, but my activity level went down. So I just gained a bunch of weight. And then when I realized, then I was like, okay, knock it off. And so there's maybe like a 6-month period when I was like 22 or so. And then after that, I just went back to like being hardcore, and I've never let up since. But yeah, there are times when I'll get like just random Charlie horses, literally everywhere,
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
my triceps and my biceps and my forearms. Like there'll be like the workouts where like the next day or even that day you go to wash your hair in the shower, you're like, like my arm's gonna rip off.
Yeah.
Like I get them everywhere, but
That-
it's fun. It's I, know, I
I
kick my
remember
ass.
when I joined that boxing gym, like I went, it was so fun that I went, I think 5 days in a row. And you probably shouldn't do that, especially when you first start.
Yeah, but you liked it.
But I'm going to tell you, like, but here's the thing though. And I also wasn't doing things right. Like I had the hand wraps, the gloves. You're supposed to relax and then tense up at the last second as you turn your arm and hit the punch. But I was like tense the whole time, so I'm basically clinching,
Right.
and my forearms are so like So by like the 4th and 5th day, I had a hard time squeezing the toothpaste.
Right.
Like I remember trying, and I was like, because all these muscles were super sore. I had a hard time. Like I remember, like even opening a door, I was like, oh my gosh, like just to grab a doorknob and like turn it and pull it. I was like, my forearms were too like.
Yeah.
I realized like, man, this is bad. And I used to be a guy that could do, like 26 pull-ups and. And then I realized, like, well, back then I was, a lot lighter.
Paul, can you do 26 pull-ups?
No, I can't do it either, man. I can't even do. No, how many could I do? I could probably, if I really tried, maybe I'll say 10 because I can't do that many.
That's about my limit.
Yeah, and it has to be like, and I prefer to do it like this, like not like this, but like if there's the bars like this,
Palms facing each other.
palms facing each other, almost like a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Then I could do
It's
it
a little bit easier that one.
But but on generally I just do like 5. I'll do like 5, drop, do something else, do 5, drop. Yeah.
The thing I appreciate about your boxing. No, it's great. And so this is because one of the running themes is like I tell people that, like, you don't have to, if you're not a gym person, like an actual like traditional gym. There are so many other things that you can do, and I always encourage people just find that thing that you enjoy doing. So for you, it sounds like you really enjoy boxing. I love it. I've talked about it on this podcast. I love it too. I've been boxing for like 2 years now, and
It's the best.
I still like. I'm not great.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, like the gym I go to, Prevail. Shout out to Prevail. They'll teach us a combo, and like sometimes it'll start like with a basic part, and then like we'll do a couple rounds, and they'll add to the combo, and like. So by the end, you're like, oh yeah, got it. And then you spar, or like someone's holding the mitts, and then you mess up the combo, and I'm just like, like I had it in my mind. It's like choreography, and then you mess it up. But like when you get it right, and like the mitts make the certain sound, you're just like, oh, and you're like, there's like a little combo. Maybe like there's like a duck involved, and then you finish it. Like there's always just like there's a sound that it makes when you hit it right, and you get the combo right. Like it's a really great feeling.
And it sounds easy, especially when you're watching someone else do it, and then when it's your turn to get in there, like you said, they're like, give me a 1, 2, 3 slip, right hook, underneath, and you're like, okay, and then, but I hate when they make the combinations too long. I'm like, just give me 1s and 2s, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Or like one. Sometimes, and there's a guy like, you probably do this too, like where they throw the rope ladder down. You get like the leg work and you do the rope ladder, and it's like and then they take the rope ladder, they put it in the ring so it's a little bit spongier and bouncier, and that's like a whole other second layer of like, this is hard, But at the end, especially if you're working with a trainer or someone pushing you a little bit, man, that's the feeling I love, where you're drenched in sweat, you feel like you did something. And you're ready to take on the day,
Yeah, I always see you at the gym, and I'm like, but the place that you went to closed, you said? So you found a new place?
Yeah, that one closed. That was in Burbank. No, the one I go to is in Northridge. It's
Northridge?
It's
That's way in the valley.
Yeah, luckily I live on the, Burbank, so it's like, take the 101 and, but you're right. It is like, but it's super clean. They clean it every day, and they're really good about like wiping everything down and Lysol, and they have like the air fresheners in there, and it's just like they air it out in the mornings. And
what's the name of this place in case people are near Northridge?
It's Buddy McGirt. Look up Buddy McGirt. It's
You're welcome.
look him on Instagram, and They, I don't, yeah, look them up. They're always going back and forth if they're going to keep it open to the public or not, because it's mainly pros.
Oh,
And then
okay.
they let a few of us slide in,
Oh,
just,
cool.
But then I think sometimes they are like, yeah, we should like maybe do classes, but then they're like, oh, then if we do, because it could it's funny when people are disciplined, they'll take care of things, but then random people coming in, sometimes they'll like,
Oh, dude.
you know what I mean?
My
Like
biggest pet
they'll
peeve.
they'll like leave cups everywhere and
Yeah.
candy
Or
wrappers.
like the weights
and
are all over the place.
yes,
or, like,
exactly.
whatever.
It's
You're
like,
you're
you
like-
want to kind of, you know,
I feel like it's.
Yeah.
I mean, as being from here, I hate that this is the case, but I feel like it's an LA thing. People like just not taking care of, because like I go to gyms
Yeah.
all over the country, dude, and like they're clean everywhere else except
Right.
here.
Really?
Like I
Yeah.
swear, like even like I have a 24 membership. I've talked about this, and like the ones here, like the staff will try to maintain, but like there's weights everywhere. But I go to 24 and like I don't know, let's say Denver or something, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's clean. People put their shit away here. People wipe up their bench afterwards. Like, thank you. But what is it about LA people? They don't like doing that.
I don't know.
understand.
Do you think it's because people here are from other parts of the country, and then maybe they're like, this isn't my hometown. There's like whatever, like
Maybe
I wonder about.
entitlement.
Yeah, I wonder about that. Like, because maybe, like, I thought about like people go, LA has the worst drivers, but I also have talked to people that aren't. They're like I talked to this guy who was from Texas, and he goes, yeah, I moved here, and he goes, I was driving. I was like, I'm in LA now. I'm gonna, me first. I'm gonna cut people off and try. And then after he lived here for a while, he goes, oh, I'm not gonna do that anymore. But so I think maybe we get a lot of people here from other parts of the country. We're getting like the worst people. No,
For
I'm just
sure.
kidding. No, but the people that
No,
are
I
like,
agree.
like I'm an actor. I'm gonna make it. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
about me. Yeah, someone else can clean this mess up, or someone else
Absolutely.
can. So I don't know. Like,
I mean, I hate to cast
know?
generalizations, but I think it's a very good possibility.
but whereas the people, let's say, like back to Denver or wherever, they're like, oh, this is my community. I'm proud of this. Like I want this gym to be. And I don't know. As opposed to like, when you're on. Like some people might mistreat like a rental car because it's like not really theirs. They're just like, oh, I really want to like just burn rubber and like, treat it like shit and give it back in 3 days or whatever. So
You've been doing stand up for 20 plus years.
yeah,
What's been your favorite city to go to and perform?
man, I get asked that question a lot. And,
Really?
And it's hard to say because each there's different ways that I like. Do I like the hotel where I'm at? Is it close to stuff? Do I like the audiences? Do they buy a lot of merch? Is it easy to
Right.
get to? Like if it's hard to get to, sometimes I mean all those stuff play into place. As opposed to like when you're younger and you're like like I like this room because I get laid after the show or whatever. It's like
Never happened.
I like I guess like any place where the people show up and it's an easy sell and we're having fun. I don't really have a favorite anymore.
Look at good for you, man.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
I think like just as a whole, like I do like Denver for some reason. I feel like they're the people. I feel like the audiences in Denver are the right mixture of like being like liberal, but also a little still. There's like some subtle racism and whatever that's still because it's Colorado and there's like middle America. So, but it's like a perfect. Like I recorded my first album there.
Oh.
And I just always felt like every time I went there, I was like, oh, this is great. And I noticed like a lot of comics shoot their specials in Denver. And I don't know if it's for the same reasons or if it's just a cool.
Did you
city.
find yourself running out of breath up there because of the elevation or no?
So when I kind of one of the reasons why I started this podcast, bless you, sir.
Yeah.
Is I've been going, to different cities, and I work out in the different cities, whatever. And one of the things I love about going to Denver is going to Red Rocks.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had always wanted to go there because I would always see like professional athletes training there. So the first time I went, I was like, we got to go to Red Rocks. And let me tell you, dude, like have you ever been there?
No, but I've only seen pictures.
Oh, man.
It's
Okay.
an outdoor arena, right?
Yeah, it's an
Stairs?
outdoor concert arena. They have these huge stairs, and during the day they leave it open for people to exercise, and like tons of people go there to exercise. Like there's classes there that people do like yoga, or people just run up the stairs. And like I could run without even training hard or like specifically for like running. Like I could go run 5. Like when I leave here, I'll probably go run like 4 miles. No big deal. 5, 6. once you get past 6, that's for me. That's kind of like pushing it.
Yeah.
I can't run up those stairs nonstop because like
Wow.
my lungs just are on fire.
Just hearing that's making me, it's hard to breathe.
It's like, but like it's so hard, and you feel like the lactic acid just build up like in your, especially in your legs. You're just like, I can't, like, I could see the top, and I'm not even like sprinting. I'm just trying to run up, but like
Yeah.
I physically
Wow.
still can't do it. But so I get like why the Olympic team goes. The headquarters is in Colorado Springs, I believe.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the boxers will go up to like
Yeah.
Big Bear and train. You know, I remember I was on stage at Lake Hollywood at the Improv at Lake Hollywood. And I remember
Where's that?
Go to Lake Hollywood. Or did I say Lake Hollywood? Lake
Yeah.
Tahoe.
Oh, Lake Tahoe.
But yeah, there is a Lake Hollywood.
That's how I was like, where the hell's that club at? Jeez.
Wouldn't that be cool if there was like a Lake Hollywood Improv? What the hell am I thinking? See, my head's getting light from that last conversation we had about Red Rocks. But no, it's at Lake Tahoe Improv. That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
And I remember it was the first night, and I was like, I'm getting winded because I'm very physical on stage, and I walk around, I'm talking, because when you're walking, talking, and you're physical.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, like I gotta, I caught myself going like that in between jokes, And a good way to mask that, by the way, I read in LL Cool J's autobiography.
Shout out to Todd Smith.
That's right. My sister-in-law gave it to me one year, and he
His
said,
autobiography?
"Yeah,
That's so weird.
yeah." And he said a way to get your breath back, because you don't want to be on stage going
Right.
as you smile, and as you're smiling, you breathe through your teeth. So the crowd, as they're applauding or whatever, you're smiling, going you're smiling.
Interesting. I've learned that I breathe hard just doing this podcast. People will like message me or like, dude, I can hear your breath. I'm like, sorry, I don't know where that comes from, but
Yeah.
I never noticed it. I don't notice it on stage, like when I watch or listen to my sets. But these microphones are really good.
Yeah, they might be sensitive like that. That's why sometimes I try to, you're right. You might not realize it, and then somebody might be.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's why I'm trying to like cough over here.
Yeah,
or
thanks,
breathe
man.
over here, but
We appreciate it. What's I don't know how to ask this without being like super general, so I'm trying to be like really specific. I feel like I talked about this on here, but like taking care of yourself and just longevity in this comedy game correlate.
yeah.
So how important is it to you as far as like your success as a comic and taking care of yourself? Like how do they correlate with one another?
I think you have to be clear-headed, and you have to, and if you have like, if you can, it's very easy to get inside of yourself, like when you're with like depression or something, because maybe you're like, oh man, because a lot of times, remember you said you go, I have to get on stage, and I feel that same way, and it's like this, it's like you feel great when you're like, oh, I got this bookings coming up, I got this coming up, because I think as people, we like structure, we like structure where it's like, okay, I got this podcast today at noon, and then I'm going to go run, and then I have this, I'm going to go to my son's taekwondo, and then I'm going to go to Haha Cafe, then I'm going to go to Flappers, whatever the schedule is, you're like, and then tomorrow I'm going to do a podcast. So we like that, and it kind of elevates our mood, it makes us happy. When we don't have structure, and it sounds great for people that do have a lot of structure that, well, let me put it this way. If it's structure that's not your own, it could suck. Like if you're in jail or something, or like let's say you're doing a job you hate and you're like, oh gosh, But if it's something you like, then it makes you a little bit happier. And I think with, giving yourself a little bit of a schedule and exercising, incorporating that, then you're feeling good because you're not just, otherwise it's very easy to get down and be like your pants are tighter, your clothes are tighter, people are taking pictures and you're like, oh, you feel bad about yourself. And, I shaved my head a few years ago because I was trying to hang on, and then like I was I was wearing these plaid shirts which really accentuate like your belly if it's big, and people are like, you look funny, you look castable, like the wacky dad, and I'm like, but I go, I'm not getting cast, and I'm just walking around feeling like I don't like this. This isn't what I want to be, like the Larry David hairstyle and like the Jeff Garland, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that, hey, it's Curb Your Enthusiasm all in one body, but, so you know what I mean?
Right.
With some orange hair mixed in. It's like, womp, womp, terrible, so you got to feel good about yourself. And so that's what I like to do. A little bit of structure, a little bit of exercise, and I also I forgot what the question is, but I just want to say this about producing stuff. Like having this podcast is it's probably elevating your mood. Maybe you're aware of it, maybe you're not. But I noticed I was at the Comedy Store one night, and there was 3 comedians that used to always kind of be moping around, a little bit depressed, kind of haters a little bit, I felt. And then I went there one night, and they were all in good moods. And I'm like, this is interesting. And they were all talking about their latest podcast and how they started podcasts, and they were excited to be on different platforms. And I thought, wow, what is that? And I talked to a friend of mine. Big shout out to Matt Fulcheron from the Full Charge Power Hour. And he's done, hundreds of episodes. And he goes, you know what it is? He goes, with comedians, it gives us something to do during the day to gives us like this little goal, and we put this thing together, and then we put it out there. And that in itself, like, helps our mental happiness, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's how it's my workouts, it's all those things, but like, you've just been doing it for so long that, like, for me, looking at someone like, I want to have a family at some point. I know I hate kids now, but like at some point, I'd love to, be headlining, have a wife, have kids, but still have my sanity and still have my health, and like not like you. I always see you like when you're at the clubs. Like I feel like I see you all the time, and you always have a good attitude. And I think that a part of it is because you take care of yourself, and because you're just in a good place.
Yeah.
But I feel like your health, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be less likely to have those good moods and be pleasant to be around and so forth.
Yeah. Also, a friend of mine gave me great advice. He said when you're in a bad mood, or you're just feeling like you're just in down, or maybe you're in the mood of like, whatever that mood is. Maybe you're jealous of people, or you're like, why am I not on stage? How come I'm not? He goes, I just stay home and do something else. I don't even go out, because he goes, I find if I go out, I don't want to be that guy that's like the bitter biscuit. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not good. Like that is totally. And you also realize, everyone has their own path, and there's no rhyme or reason. I did this podcast. It'll be out next week, with a comedian that now lives in Las Vegas, and he said something great. He goes, you got to realize, he's older. He's like in his 60s, and he used to tour with Sam Kinison, Robin Williams. His name is Stephen Pearl. He's been around, and he said that he hit a moment of depression when he was in his. He goes, LA is no fun when you're in your 50s and you're not getting paid and you're not on stage. So then he moved to the Bay Area, got a little bit more work, but now he's thriving. He's in Las Vegas. He's playing everywhere. And we talked about that, compare and despair type of thing that can happen. And he goes, life isn't fair, and show business is even more unfair.
That's for sure.
And I was like, that's pretty good, man. So just knowing that, then you can, it's a lot easier to feel good about stuff, I guess.
Right.
I
think, like, for me personally, it's like, because I played sports too, like I played baseball, like that's something where it's like, it's so, like, in baseball, you fail a lot and you're still like considered like successful, and I still play baseball like on Sundays with like a bunch of my friends. We play in the league and stuff.
Oh,
and
that's
so
cool.
It's like, it's cool for me to have like that competition, because like I feel like that kind of translates to, like you said, real life in comedy or entertainment.
Dude, if I played baseball, I'd probably be like that first day in the boxing gym. Like, I don't even know. Is it fast pitch or slow pitch?
We played baseball, dude.
Baseball.
Yeah,
See,
don't get it twisted.
I couldn't even do that. I know. Yeah. I used to like mush ball. Is that still a thing?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I don't think it's a thing. That might have just been a thing for like kids.
Is that like on the beach?
No, it's a giant ball. It's like this big, and I think they underhand pitch it so you can hit it. Yeah, this is.
Oh yeah. No, I do know what this is.
I think I was like 9 or 10.
It's
or
like
11.
softball, but it's a bigger softball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually played it. Did not like it, but I don't like playing softball either. So, but
I like baseball. Like
I love
wear,
it.
like gloves and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Like I still play. Like I can still. I'm an athlete still.
And they fast pitch it, and then they.
We got a kid in our team that is I call him a kid because he's like 27, 20. He throws like 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like we're also like we're old. Like the guys in my team.
Let me ask you, what's that like when the ball comes at you and you actually crack it? Crack, and you hear that noise. That must feel.
It's awesome. It feels like punching somebody. It really does. Like when you punch, or not punch them, but like when you hit the bag and you just unleash all that.
By the way, I've not really punched people. Like,
I haven't either. I don't know why I said that.
It's like
but
punching a guy.
When you punch the bag or like the mitts, like there's just like a feeling and it's sound. It's
I know
the same thing.
Like that. Oh, I hit it right now. That wasn't even right.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Hold on. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Even though they're watching you.
Oh, they're watching me? Oh, I mean, this one.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I get you.
I,
When they throw it and when they throw it, when they pitch it and you crack it, crack. Have you ever? I don't think I've ever gotten past first base. So
Yeah.
so I'm asking a baseball player, what's it feel like to hit a grand slam?
never hit a grand slam ever.
Yeah.
But I've hit home runs, and my problem is that I'm a speed guy. Like I'm little, like I'm strong, but like
Yeah.
I don't hit a lot of home runs. So usually, when I do hit a home run, because I hit them so infrequently, I'm thinking like when I hit it, okay, I have a double or a triple. So I'm like
Yeah.
running, and then by the time I like get close to second, like I see the umpire signal, like you're like, oh shit, I didn't even get to like enjoy it. The only time I've ever hit a home run where I knew it was gone, we were getting. This is actually a true story. This is like 7-8 years ago. We were playing in this league up here, like in the LA area, and the team that we were on, Jose Canseco was on it, and so we were playing his team, but they were kicking our ass. Their name was the
Wow.
Jacks, and but like I hit, and his brother was on the team too. They were like super roided out. And he hit a home run against one of our pitchers, but like I hit a home run against them, but I knew it was gone. But we were losing like 9-1, so like I couldn't even do like my little like stare, like, and I was just like, ah. That's the only time I've ever known that it was a home run. Every other time I'm like hauling ass.
Dude, you
around
played
the
against
bases.
Jose Canseco?
I know, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
I played against a lot of like former pro guys.
That's cool, and those guys do it because they still love the game.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It's I mean, for the way I see it, it's like the guys that are still doing comedy like 50 years later, or
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
if you love it, you love it. And if
Yeah.
you can, and if you love it and you can still do it,
Yeah.
then just keep doing it.
That's amazing.
Okay, we got to get out of here. But thanks for letting me talk about baseball a little bit.
Dude, I'm going to ask you, I'll tell you something off the air about baseball, about this,
Okay.
this book that I just listened. It's an audio book. It's great.
You can tell me now.
I'll tell you now. Okay. The guy's name is Bill Bryson. His father was a writer, and he would cover World Series, so he talks about a little bit about that.
Oh,
different
cool.
World Series he got to go to. He talks about growing. It's a great book, Bill Bryson.
Okay.
And it's called The Thunderbolt Kid, and I love that book.
I've heard of
and
this
it's
book.
free. It's on a Libby, this app you can get. You can get free library books on your phone.
wow.
I listen to it. It's great, man.
That's great.
I think you'd really dig it.
Darren, do me a favor, man. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Oh, great. Okay, Instagram, official Darren Carter. Look me up. My podcast is called Pocket Party, the Pocket Party Podcast. If you're a musician, send in a theme song. I'll play it. I have 9 songs people have sent in from
Oh, no, that's
Nashville,
cool.
Netherlands. Like my little boy, he's 10 at the time. Now he's 11. But he wrote the first one, and people covered it, and now they're starting to offshoot and do their originals.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
it's called Pocket Party Podcast. Instagram is official Darren Carter, and I'm on YouTube and everything else.
Yeah. You got any shows or anything coming up? I think you're.
Yeah, I'm like in.
Are you in El
everywhere.
Paso next weekend?
El Paso.
Comic
yeah.
strip. Shout out to
Comic
Bart.
strip, shout out, yeah. And DarrenCarter.com. When will this go out?
Next week.
Next week? Okay, go to DarrenCarter.com and check it out and send me a message. Let me know you heard me on the show, and thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
I like when you're in El Paso. I mean, I'll tell you, Lion's Den, or it's Lion's Den or Wolf's Den. It's a gym. Like you could walk from like where you guys stay.
Okay.
But I love it. It's got everything.
Do we just give them the comedy club passes? They let us in, or
No,
how's it
you
work?
just have to be nice to them.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I'm like, hey guys, I'm from LA. That's usually little secret when I go.
Yeah,
and
tell us. Give us a secret.
When I've talked about it, but
How
like
do we
when
get
I,
past that
when I-
$10
when-
admission fee?
Yeah, when I'm in a city, I always say, hi, I'm in town for work. And I always say, like, what's your guest fee or whatever. And then usually they're like, oh, where are you from? I'm from LA. Oh, what are you here for work? I'm a comedian. And then usually at some point in that conversation, because I'm nice and because I tell them these things, they're super like amazed with where I'm from and that I'm a comedian. And they usually let me work out for free. But like, I always expect to pay. But
Yeah.
a lot of times, once all those things come out of my mouth.
So it's good to ask,
They let
like,
me.
what is the fee? It's good to throw that in there
yeah,
up front.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm from out of town. What is the fee for a pass?
Yeah,
Because
I'm performing at the club down the street, whatever.
I'm a comedian.
Sometimes I'll be like, I can give you some free passes, which it works.
Yeah,
So he's going to be at the comic strip in El Paso. I'm going to be at Laugh Lines in Vancouver when you guys hear this week, September 6th and 7th, with Tommy Lama, the Tommy Savitt. Love that guy.
Oh yeah, I worked with him years ago.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's so funny. So if you're in Vancouver for some reason, come check me out there. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget, if you listen to this, rate it, review it, share it. It really helps. Every review helps for me. So yeah, thanks for listening to The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. Thank you to our guest, Darren Carter. And I'll listen to you guys or talk to you guys. I won't listen to you guys. Talk to you guys. See you guys next time. Peace out.